Welcome to the Really Good Podcast 2018 Oscars
This is a
edition.
very written down introduction.
I did not write that
It
down actually.
was oh wow, it was improv.
Yep,
That was really
still
well
in
done.
for us. Yeah, so we've had a bit of a hiatus from doing this just because we wanted to watch all of the Best Picture
Yeah, it was
films
like
for this year.
how many?
There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9.
We watched 9 films in the space. To be fair, we only watched 9 films in the space of like a week,
It's not
2
bad.
weeks.
Yeah, probably. But because you've had uni and stuff, like it's
Yeah,
been kind of
it's been
spread
spaced
out.
out.
So yeah, it's probably been about a month since we
I'm
last.
tired of films. I'm tired of films I don't enjoy.
Yeah,
Honest
we
to
have
God.
had to watch some films that we just would
Some
never
films.
think to watch them.
Nope. Wouldn't think to, wouldn't want to, wouldn't think of wanting to.
Yeah. And also usually there are 10 nominations for Best Picture. And a lot of people have complained that like some films have been kind of snubbed.
Yeah, I feel like there
So
were loads of like Killing of a Sacred Deer. I
I
know
mean, I don't know if
it's.
that's necessarily Oscar worthy, but
I
I
mean,
think
it
the
was
ones that
okay.
people have most complained about were Blade Runner and
Yeah.
Florida Project, from what
Oh,
I saw.
okay. Yeah, I've heard a lot about Florida
Neither of
Project.
which I've seen,
No.
so we can't talk about those.
Nope. Banned.
No.
Unbanned.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just be kind of going over the best pictures and the other categories and just talking about them since we've now seen all of them, so we
Mhm.
are qualified.
Yeah. I think that's all it takes to
Pretty much to
judge
have an
films.
opinion.
Yeah, I've seen them. I can judge them,
Yeah.
and I will.
So which one do you want to talk about
What was the first one we saw?
first? Well, I guess the first one that we actually saw was Get Out,
Oh, yeah, of
because Get
course.
Out came out like
Did
a
it get
year
out?
ago.
It got out a year ago. No, I don't like that.
It came
Edit that
out.
out. Yeah.
I won't. That's staying in.
That's no, I don't want that.
Um,
And
yeah,
then
so that was definitely the one that was furthest away from the Oscars. Literally, like almost an exact year away.
yeah, and
I
you
think.
said you worried about recency bias.
Yeah, I feel like there'll definitely be a recency bias
Yeah,
with Get Out.
that's unfortunate.
Which, I mean, we've talked about it a couple times on this podcast because
I was trying to
we've,
think if we had talked about it. I thought, yeah,
yeah, we
I
talked
remember
about it for
saying.
2017.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's Jordan Peele's first film.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Has Daniel Kaluuya, Alison Williams, Catherine Keener. Um, I remember it being really good,
Yeah.
but it's definitely like further away in my mind than all the others because we saw all the others
Yeah.
very recently.
Well, I saw it in like October.
Oh
So
yeah, you
that's
have seen it
something.
twice, so I
Yeah.
guess yeah. Um, I mean, I do feel like it could definitely be a contender for best
Yeah.
film. Um,
In my mind, it's that and one other film are the best of
yeah.
the selection
But if
by
anything, I
far.
would say that Get Out was like the film of 2017. Like everyone
Yeah.
seems to have seen that film or like heard about it. Like I don't remember any other film getting that much attention in 2017.
No,
It
actually.
was everywhere.
Yeah, it's very prevalent. And
Prevalent?
prevalent.
It was
And
quite
appropriate
prevalent.
for the year
Yeah.
and the time. So what do you think that because it was like the year of the film of the year, pretty much last year, that it won't get recognition now?
I mean, it could. I just again, I feel like
Hmm,
the recency bias will affect it,
that's a bummer.
but it's possible.
Maybe they watched the films though.
Yeah.
Like
But I think because the Oscars is like obviously voted by a lot of people,
yeah.
um, so I feel like a lot of people won't have seen it since they first saw it, maybe.
If you're on like the committee, the academy, the I don't know what the squad,
Yeah, I
the
think
group, the
the
crew,
boys.
the boys. If you're one of the boys, then I feel like you would have definitely rewatched the films
You'd have
if
thought
you're
so.
judging. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would hope they did that.
maybe. Yeah, I can't pretend that I exactly know
No,
how it
I
works,
seriously have
but
no idea.
someone votes.
I think I only realized like in the last year that there's all like actors and actresses and everyone that is a bit remote like involved in the film industry will be on this. So it's not. So it is. Yeah, I think we talked
Well,
about
they'll
it.
be voting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we talk about this on here? About how it's kind of open to the public, but not really. and whether that affects.
Yeah.
Oh, you talked about the animation one, didn't we?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Nothing's relevant here, but there's that.
Mhm.
My stomach's gonna make noises the entire time for the next 2 hours.
Um.
Uh,
Yeah. No, mine will be as well.
should be good. So
We are hungry.
yeah,
That's what we're saying.
just for context. How much can we say about the film though? Because we
I mean,
talked
yeah,
about
we've
it.
already kind of been over this one. Like the whole social, racial commentary is done very well, especially for a
Yeah.
first film. It's like very
Yeah.
competently made
It's so
and
polished.
yeah,
It's really
and
good.
very like tight and well written and
Looked good. Made
yeah,
sense. Like there
from
wasn't plot holes that were like infuriating or anything like that. It's
yeah,
good.
you needed a little bit of a suspension of disbelief, I guess, to for the kind of hypnosis side and the
Yeah,
like
spoilers.
the end twist. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like we'll probably be doing spoilers in this, like for
No,
all
this
the
is a
films.
spoiler-free run of
I don't think so.
9. I'm not going to be naming any names or actresses or characters or themes.
It would be a
So
spoiler to say who's in Get Out,
yeah,
I think.
that should be a surprise for you. I realized after watching one of the films that I'm not naming any names of films either. That you should
Jesus.
not know anything about a film before you watch it, like at all.
Yeah.
And I've always enjoyed those way more than ones, especially
Mhm.
if you've seen a trailer. If you see a trailer, you've seen the film now in a bad way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think
that's
most
mine.
of the ones that we watched, I hadn't seen the trailer, and it definitely affected my
I'd
enjoyment of it.
seen GIFs and screen caps of a lot of the films, I think,
Yeah.
before I saw them. And that, yeah, I was like, oh, well, I know what this is going to be about, kind of now.
Okay.
Not like the twist whatever, but still.
Right.
That's all I have to say on Get Out. Will it win?
Will it blend?
No.
That was the question.
Will it?
I'm gonna say no. But if it
No.
did, I wouldn't be unhappy. I'd be
Oh.
like, sure. That I can
The
see
most
it.
neutral
I can
response.
see it winning, but I don't think it will, is what I'm predicting.
Okay. I would like it to win,
Okay.
but I'd say two or three other films that I would also be happy winning.
Mhm.
But I think this is like one of two films that I think would most deserve it.
Sure.
That's my ranking. But yeah, I don't think it will win.
Okay.
Isn't it that horror movies never win?
Yeah, the
Best
fact that it's a
Picture?
horror movie as well will probably affect it, and that it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of like a comedy
Political?
as well. I think
Oh.
it comes under comedy in some categories.
Dark
Like
comedy? Yeah,
yeah,
I guess so.
like yeah, it's not necessarily the kind of film you'd expect to see get nominated. So even the fact that it's
Mm.
nominated is kind of amazing, and that goes for a couple of the films.
Yeah, but then shouldn't it? Maybe they want to do something different this time.
Maybe,
Maybe they want to
but they
look
don't
to.
tend to do that.
No, they don't. Okay, yeah, no,
They tend
that's
to do
gone.
the same old thing.
Yep. Can't wait for. Actually, I don't know which one will win. Oh no, I know. I have a feeling I know which one will win. Never mind.
All right. Well, just trying to figure out which one we would have seen next after that. The first
Lady
one.
Bird?
I think Lady Bird would have been the next one we saw,
Yeah,
yeah.
like almost a year after.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was at the beginning of this year that we watched Lady Bird.
Yeah.
So this is directed by Greta Gerwig, who is the only female director, I believe, who is nominated. Also, fun fact,
She's dominated?
huh?
She's dominated?
Who has dominated
She's
the
dominated.
world.
Oh.
You're just on fire.
Please. Don't call me out like this. Mock me. Carry on.
So yeah, fun fact, she is also the 5th female director to be nominated for Best Director ever in the Oscar
Oh my
history.
god.
So 90 years, 5 women have
That's
been
ridiculous.
nominated.
Not surprising,
Yeah,
but ridiculous.
it's unbelievable. And even those have been in probably like the last
Oh.
20 years.
Maybe she's gonna win then. Maybe this is gonna win.
It's possible, but we'll talk about it when we get to Best Director.
Okay.
Yeah, so Lady Bird is Saoirse Ronan, Laurie Metcalf, Lucas Hedges, Timothée Chalamet. So it's kind of like a coming of age story
Yeah. Yeah.
set
Definitely.
in 2002. And like focuses on a mother-daughter relationship.
And religion.
and religion to some extent. I mean, she goes to like a Catholic. What is it? She's like finishing high school.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um.
I'd say it's kind of occurring, and like
Mm,
the end, it seems to come out a lot. Like,
religion.
yeah, the very end.
I don't really remember what happened at the end. It
Oh.
didn't really seem to go like as much as I liked the film. It didn't really have like a amazing ending to me.
Yeah, the end wasn't the climactic bit. It was, I don't know. It was kind of scenes. It like that review of like the other film. It was just scenes happening,
Right.
and there
Yeah.
was certain relationships kind of progressed and changed. It's
Hmm.
a slow one. It's a slow film, I think, and
Yeah.
events happen, and I think the main character grows. I'm not too sure. I think she does. She does. She does. And that's what the end's about, I think.
I think so. Yeah. Does she get in some kind of accident at the end
No.
or okay? I'm
Nothing.
thinking.
Oh, a bit, a bit. She has her stomach pumped because she drinks too much, but it's
Right. Yeah.
depicted as not that serious. It's just
No. Yeah.
drinks a lot.
Um. Yeah. I guess it's just about kind of teenage angst and I guess like phases that people go through and like relationships with parents where it's like everyone's kind of picked up on the part where they're sort of picking out dresses and
Mm.
like they're having an argument and
Yeah.
then
Did we talk
suddenly
about
it's
this
like,
as we did?
that's nice.
We talked about this as well.
I think we did.
Yeah. I just
Yeah. Oh
realized
yeah, we did in
the best.
best of 2017
Whoops.
thing. Yeah, we did. But just
Bad.
to recap, yeah. Um yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought it was alright.
I don't know if it was just because like, it was the like most recent newest film that I liked the most.
Mm.
That'd be great now. Of all the films I've seen recently, I'd like that more than those ones. I hadn't seen a good film in ages.
Yeah.
That was new. And I was like, wow, a film I properly connect with and like and relate to and feel affected by emotionally.
Yeah.
And I was devoid of that for a bit.
Mhm.
So at the time, I really enjoyed it and watched it twice. I still think it's good.
It's definitely a good film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's amazing. I wouldn't necessarily say it was like amazing to me. I can imagine like
Maybe it's just because I can relate to more having
yeah.
been a teenage girl than not having been a religious teenage girl. Like
Mm.
there are definitely a lot of experiences I'm like, oh yeah, I get that completely. But I also really like coming of age teen films. I don't
Yeah.
know why. I like the
And
personal drama of it.
yeah, it feels like it's from a more relatable perspective of like teenage life as well
Yeah.
than kind of what you'd expect from a Hollywood film. Like it does seem to
Hmm.
depict teenage life kind of
It does.
semi-realistically,
Yeah,
which
I think.
is interesting. In
Yeah.
I think I said at the time, like it's kind of like not like a comedy like Superbad, but kind of truthful like Superbad
Yeah.
in the way it depicts
Like awkward
teenagehood.
teenagers. Yeah, and they have jokes that teenagers would have and speak like how teenagers would, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know about in 2002. How old was I in 2002? 7.
yeah.
Sorry, I don't
So
know about
I don't
that.
know about that,
No.
but yeah, just I
I
think
believe
just the
it.
part where her and her friends are like laughing in the kitchen because they're all like drunk and
Mm.
like her mom comes down in like a dressing gown. It all kind of felt like
I feel like a thing that's happened.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes that feel like it's not as like inspirational and wild as some coming of age movies where they like drive out into the desert and they release fireworks and it's prom night
But that's
and
nobody does that shit.
I
That's less
know.
realistic. That's why this works.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They don't do that. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think there's any scenes that are particularly like, even at the end, she gets a stomach pump because she drank too much. I know a lot of
Mm.
people that's happened. That's not relatable for me, but it happens.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's all understated, I guess. Like, I could see a lot of her aspects of her life in loads of people around me, especially being a teenager. So it all felt very real. Apart from, I guess, Lady Bird is a bit of an exaggerated character. Like, I think I knew people like her, but like, obviously she's
Mm.
a fake, made up person.
It's quite dramatic.
Yeah. Of all the things I like in it, I like the mum and daughter relationship.
Yeah, which seems to be the central
Yeah, that
premise, I
felt
guess.
like,
If anything,
yeah,
the mother-daughter relationship is
that's
the
the thing.
main point of the
Yeah,
film.
that's the point. Like that's where it felt like most of the heart and like actual writing went into. But other bits I liked were, or like, I found most engaging,
Mm.
interesting. I don't know. Um, the fa- her boyfriend, her first boyfriend, like comes out as gay, and the reaction to that, and how like yeah, it would be a lot of pressure if you're also in a religious school
Yeah.
and like the breaking down scene. That's when the first time I was like, oh, this is a good movie. Actually, this is like well written and does all. I think we said in the 2017 review, it does all the comedic parts really well and does all the serious parts really well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess the ending was a little bit lackluster. I think I wanted to feel more at the end, and like she does this big speech to her mom, which does make sense because the film is about her and her mom.
Yeah.
I think I found that bit too cheesy. I was like, well, probably needed to
Yeah,
happen,
because
but
yeah, the whole kind of crux of their relationship is that her mother kind of doesn't believe in her, and sort of, as much as she wants to, she is looking at the situation
yeah.
realistically. 'Cause she wants to go to this amazing college, and her mother's basically like, "You're not gonna get in. You're gonna like screw it up or whatever."
Yeah,
And like
it's
she,
expensive and
yeah,
things like
yeah,
that.
it's mainly a money thing as well, and she wants to prove to her mother that like she can not be a screw up, but like she's also kind of focusing on the wrong things, and like it's
Being a teenager
yeah,
and being
yeah,
irresponsible. And then what else is it? Yeah, also the mother seems to like resent her a bit because the fact that Lady Bird is like trying to achieve higher than what she has already and feels like she's not being grateful enough for what she has
yeah.
and things like that. Um, which all sound like real things.
Hmm.
Like, I get it.
Yeah, it all
Yeah.
definitely feels like a realistic dynamic.
Yeah. Will it win?
Will it win? Um,
I think it might.
I think it could,
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
I've seen a lot of advertising for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that changes anything, but I don't think it'll like sneak up on it. I think it's probably the thing I've seen most advertised actually, like
Yeah.
trailers and
Yeah,
stuff.
actually, yeah, there has been a
It's
lot
a lot.
of marketing for this.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know if I need to watch it again, but I feel like I'd be disappointed if it did win, because I don't necessarily want it to win, but I think it might.
Why do we just why? Just because of the other films?
Because I feel like there are more deserving films.
Yeah. Yeah, so do I.
But at the same time, I have nothing against the film. I just feel like, I
Hmm.
don't know.
Like, yeah, I agree that I'd want other films to win, but I also want some films to really not win. So I'd
Yeah.
much prefer this film to
Oh, I
win
think we know
above
which films
some
won't
film.
win, so it's fine.
We don't know that though. We don't know
Oh no,
anything.
I know two films that won't win.
They might, is my worry. For the
There's
subject
no fucking
matter,
way that at
oh,
least
they
two
might
films.
though. Have you looked at the past winners? Because I should have done that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the interesting thing about previous winners um was that usually the film that wins is not the one that has really good and really bad kind of press towards it. It's just the ones that everyone's kind of like, oh yeah, I like that film. Like,
Kind of, okay.
there's like, yeah, it's so kind of
Oh,
inoffensive that.
Lady Bird then, I think.
So I feel, yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think Lady Bird is that film.
Yeah. Also the fact that if Greta Gerwig won, then that's more women to win.
True.
And while I think
But if she wins that for Best Picture, she might not necessarily win Best Director. Those are two different ones.
oh, okay, I see. But then how many best pictures have had women directors?
That's a good question.
Do
So
the
that
fucking
is a
research for
different. That
that?
is a. Oh, I don't have the statistics on
I
that.
knew it.
But yeah, it is still a good thing
Yeah.
for.
I think it would just be just progressive enough for the Oscars,
Yeah.
for them to not get out of their comfort zone. Because I
Yeah.
think there is definitely a comfort zone. Um,
So yeah, that is definitely an argument for why Lady Bird could win,
yeah,
because
I figure it will.
yeah.
Also, I just don't want the other two films to win.
Well, let's talk about.
What's the next
Well, the
one?
next one we would have seen was.
Shape of Water?
No, call me
Hmm?
by your name.
Can we what?
Call me what, mate? Call me by your name. which is directed by Luca Guadagnino.
Nice.
Guadagnino?
Good.
He was apparently directing a Suspiria remake for this year.
What?
I've never seen Suspiria, but apparently it's very good.
Why would you remake it if it's really good?
I don't know.
Oh,
Because we
no.
were shown it in university, and I don't think I was there. I don't think I went in to watch it,
Oh, well,
but
great.
it's meant to be like a classic,
Right.
so it's probably going to be
That's bad.
divisive.
Wait, who was it directed by originally?
I'm not sure, actually.
Okay.
I don't have
I feel like
the
it was Roman
statistics.
Polanski, but I don't know. How old is it?
I think it was maybe
I
70s.
think it was Roman Polanski then.
Yeah, it could
He's
well
just
be.
another layer to this man's mystery.
Yeah.
Cool name was good? Question mark.
Yeah.
That's my review.
Okay. Yeah, so it stars Armie Hammer, Timothée Chalamet again, and Michael Stuhlbarg. And okay, for one, Michael Stuhlbarg is in 3 of the Best Picture
Yeah.
films. Like he has made some crazy good decisions
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he's
good
really
agent.
good. Like he is totally different in each film.
Yeah, I did
It's-
not recognize him in one of the films. Not
Yeah.
all of the films, 'cause I don't really know him that
Yeah.
much. But also, yeah, he really disappears every time.
He does. So set in northern Italy in 1983. It's based around a book of the same name about a 17-year-old boy who forms a relationship with his father's research assistant. So each year they
Who's
have
24.
this. Yeah. Crucially, his father's research assistant is a 24-year-old man,
Yep.
and his son is 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every year they have like a different person come to stay at their house in Italy, and it's this like just kind of picturesque middle class looking situation.
Paradise.
Like it literally, there's like no conflict really.
Yeah.
There's no really.
Real
There's no rain ever. It's just like
No.
they live in this utopia where nobody has to go to work,
No.
nobody has to go to school. They
Sufjan
just
Stevens is playing his guitar beautifully in the background at all times. He's the guy that did the soundtrack.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
This beautiful
it's true.
weeping voice
Yeah.
as he cries over his guitar, and there is like a kind of smog over the camera at all times, and it's beautiful, and I can't see anything. That's the fun.
I couldn't see half the film.
No,
But I
loved
loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of how it looks and feels, it's very kind of nice.
Yes.
It's feels very like a European kind of, like a stereotypically European sort of atmosphere to
Yeah.
it, I think. To like an American audience, they'd probably think like,
Yeah.
oh, that must be how all Europeans
Yeah.
live.
This is what London is, right? Europe.
Yeah.
Got it.
I did think while I was watching it though that the sound design was really good. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of hated how like luxuriously they lived because it's like
Bitter about that
kind
the
of
entire time.
yeah.
Not relatable. I
Not
guess.
relatable at all. Yeah,
No.
not to me at least.
No.
But it was very nice, and yeah, just when they were sort of sitting outside having dinner, which they always seem to do, because a la carte.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
Insects everywhere. Must be
Yeah.
really fucking annoying.
Bugs all over their food.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just hear like everything. And it's yeah. So that I was kind of impressed with.
Creates a mood. Engaging.
Yeah.
Atmospheric. Very
Very
atmospheric.
atmospheric, yeah. It
the
felt
whole
very
film.
engaged in this place, even though there's not a whole sort of lot going on.
No.
Like, you feel very much involved in the scenario.
Yeah. I can imagine being that. Definitely.
Yeah. And then sort of it progresses, and this whole kind of burgeoning sexuality with the son and Armie Hammer's character. So the kind of issue with that was that he's meant to be playing a 24-year-old, and he is 31 years old in real life.
And he looks like 35.
Yeah, Armie Hammer looks older than that.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks worse than it is, I suppose.
Yeah, it
It.
made me uncomfortable for the whole film.
Mm,
And also, I had heard before that I had only heard negative things, really, or maybe like one or two positive things, people who loved it, like really loved it, and then really negative things from people who did. Mostly in like the LGBTQA like community,
yeah.
people that really didn't like it because they felt that they were portraying like it's a gay relationship, sure, but in a some people thought predatory stance,
Mm,
because of the age gap, and not just the age gap, but like the visible age gap, and even
yeah.
if the technical age gap isn't very much, it just looked pretty bad. Um, so I already had that going into it, which probably didn't help. So I really wanted to like this film all the way through because the
Mm.
music's like beautiful and it looks nice, and I bet I would have got really emotionally engaged in it and been really sad and a soul crush, which is what I wanted. But I was just kind of like, oh, I don't know, for the whole time.
Yeah.
But then I talked to like Alex, one of my
Hmm.
friends, and they mentioned that in any relationship that isn't heteronormative, they kind of have it. It's a different standard. You can't look at it through the lens of like a straight couple.
Right.
So there are different expectations and standards in between gay couples. It's not you can't look at it like a straight couple. Um, so which I do get. I don't know how to explain it. I got
Uh,
it when they understood it.
yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that
As in
means.
like the dynamics are different. So usually it's like older man, younger woman in
Mm.
every film ever by a certain amount. What like
Yeah.
and the dynamic and that's kind of sometimes seen as not like mostly seen as normal in like Hollywood films. And
Mm.
so by having a man and woman, the power dynamics are different anyway,
Hmm.
just from societal expectations. Like they don't have to be, but they are. And then when it's same sex or like not a man and a woman, it changes it that you can't look at it as power dynamics of men and women. I don't know, man. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. You should read an article on it. But Alex explained it in a way that made more sense, and I understood it.
Right. Yeah.
So there's
I
that.
can kind of see that. I just.
I don't know if it counts as out, but I was like, okay, well, yeah, it's another like, thing to look at it in that it isn't a straight couple. It is outside of the heteronormative expectations, which is
Yeah.
different. So
Mm.
there's that. Still don't know if it changed anything for me, but it wasn't enough for me to. I still would recommend it just because on a technical level it was good. I don't know if it was. It might be problematic, but I don't.
With an accent.
Yeah. If you.
Um. Yeah. No. A lot. I mean, I know you say it was kind of problematic in that specific community, but
Mm,
just a lot of the sort of user reviews of various websites brought it up as well. I don't know if
mm.
they were necessarily part of that.
No, probably other people said it as well,
So
but
yeah, I think for a lot of people, or some people, it was kind of distracting because it
mm,
felt like there was some underlying thing that was going on that wasn't being addressed. The
yeah,
fact that he looks
yeah. I
so much older.
That's what got me as well. Yeah. So even if the age gap wasn't a thing, which I know there's a lot of debate about anyway, like how much of a gap is wrong or whatever,
Yeah.
it the fact that the parents didn't well they did address it and they were fine with it. They had
Hmm.
no problems there whatsoever. I just didn't know how to feel about it. Like maybe I just got very like everyone has different perspectives, and maybe my perspective means that I don't see why parents would be okay with seemingly a 30-year-old would taking advantage of a 24-year-old, but
Yeah.
an older man, a fully grown man taking like being in a fling with their 17-year-old son who's like just become a teenager,
Hmm.
why they wouldn't have just a bit of an issue, just a bit of a concern. But maybe that's just my
Yeah.
upbringing.
I mean, it probably would have been different if it had been like a young girl and an older man. Probably would have looked weirder.
Honestly, I think that'd be a film as well. That sounds like
But then that is more
definitely a thing.
normal in Hollywood, to be honest.
Yeah,
That'd be like a rom-com.
yeah. Maybe if she
Um,
was seven.
and this doesn't feel like a romantic film in
Kind of. I thought it did.
some
I thought it
sense.
really romanticized it. Like it's there's beautiful like guitar music, kind of poetic. When you there's fruit, there's
Well, I guess
symbolism.
yeah, there's a romanticism about it to me anyway. I felt like there was romanticism about it, but it felt just a lot more like about the pain of sort of
Yeah,
like your
actually,
first love and
it's
having to
very
let go of
angsty.
them because you just have to move on because of circumstances.
Yeah,
Like it,
that's definitely a thing.
yeah, um,
Also, the book is from the perspective of the son, and
yeah,
apparently it's written um, a lot more sexually and a lot more like a teenager who's just like discovered sexuality.
right,
So like
yeah,
gay teenager discovered sexuality, and so it's the I guess the agency of the son is emphasized a lot more in the book because it's from him as opposed to the movie was just kind of wishy like it wasn't. I guess it's more from the son's perspective in that
yeah,
it really looks like he has seen this older man and he is like romanticizing him and like it's a fantasy. Yeah, I think he said it's like a fantasy.
hmm,
Um, and that makes it seem more like naive maybe to me. Like it felt more like okay, well he doesn't really see the whole picture because it looks
yes,
like this is perfect idealistic relationship that with where you're not thinking about like wait there's a dynamic here that you wouldn't get in a relationship with the same age
yeah,
in different situations. So I think yeah the story itself might have been like fine and more comfortable in the book. It was just the director's choices, casting choices specifically,
yeah,
that
yeah.
made it uncomfortable for me.
Essentially, they should have cast someone that was 24
Yeah,
or someone that looks like
yeah,
similar age to him.
yeah.
He looked just way
He looked
older
super
than
old.
he was meant to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy looked super young,
Yeah, and
super
he,
young.
yeah.
I was always shirtless, just to emphasize how young he looked. And that must be a conscious decision. Like, there's no way it's like, whoops, I didn't think about it. Like,
Mm.
they must have thought about how much they're exaggerating the age gap. So that makes me like, what's that about? What's the deal? What's their angle? But
Mm.
there's no way of knowing. So that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, they can interview the director, but
I don't know how much involvement the writer had. They generally kind of
they have
don't get to have a lot of
no.
sort of creative freedom. Well,
Hmm.
I guess it depends.
Actually, yeah, I'd be interested if there was a like response from the writer. I would be actually I can do that right now. 1 second. I just want to know if the writer has got any opinions on it.
Mm.
1 second.
Um,
Josh, say things.
but yeah, it definitely does feel. Yeah, it felt to me more like a fantasy than anything.
Yeah, like which I definitely could have got swept up in, but
Mm.
was just like barriered by this
Yeah,
issue.
and to be honest, I could see it winning,
But then it had a didn't had
but
a
it
lot of
does.
bad
Yeah, I
first
mean, it's
eight.
had some obviously had a little bit of sort of controversy around it,
Yeah.
but still,
Ooh, fandom issue.
like I could still imagine it. But I feel like it'll be the same thing as with well, it's not similar, but just in the way that everyone thought Brokeback Mountain was gonna win because that kind of was a great film that had a similar kind of dealing with like a secret relationship
Yeah,
and
and homosexuality.
yeah, and I feel like at that time when that came out, that I guess the issue was more that there aren't really mainstream gay films.
No.
Um,
It's a shame that this one might be surrounded now by controversy when it could have been seen as like a perfectly
yeah, and it's not even
healthy.
the fact that it's about homosexuality; it's because of the the yeah, as I say, the casting was like seemed to be the issue. I don't know.
Oh, this is a really long article. Like, it's written like a story because he's an
Right.
author. I just
Yeah.
realized. He's probably fine with it.
Okay. Let's assume.
He seems
Um.
like it's a good review.
So what was the next one that we watched?
Oh wait, so
I think Shape of
we're
Water.
not sure if it'll win. It might win. It's
What
a
do you
tricky
think?
one. Yeah, I don't think it'll win. I think that's
I'd be okay with
honestly.
it.
I think I'd be okay with
I don't
it.
think it will though.
I need to know some more opinions. I don't
Yeah.
think it will. I think it's an interesting discussion it started
Mm.
amongst people. It wasn't honestly that much that I don't think it was talked about that much from
No.
what I can tell though as well. Like what was
No,
talked
yeah,
about?
nobody is really talking about it in terms of like
Well, we know
expectations.
the people we know. Like the on our Facebook feed, no one's talking about it at all.
No.
Actually, I don't think anyone has mentioned it.
But I just mean in terms of the ones that like they're expecting like could win,
Yeah.
nobody's expecting this one.
Okay.
It
So
seems
it's a new
like.
wild card.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it a lot and I had no idea what it was or really what it was about.
Yeah.
So like yeah, I remember not being bored or anything.
Yeah,
I
that's the
liked it.
thing. It was technically a really good film. So I
Yeah.
guess on that case, I wouldn't mind if it won.
Yeah.
The next one, Shape of Water.
Shape of Water.
So that's one that I heard a lot about. I think
Yeah.
like
Yeah, this is
that really popped up.
probably the one that I heard the most about. Didn't really know what it was about though. So it's directed by Guillermo del Toro, who made like Hellboy and Pan's Labyrinth. Stars Sally Hawkins, Michael Shannon, Richard Jenkins, Octavia Spencer, Michael Stuhlbarg again, and Doug Jones as the fish monster.
Mhm.
So it's about a mute cleaner who is working at a government laboratory, who falls in love with this secret amphibian experiment man. It's all set during the Cold War era, and it's very much kind of like a sci-fi love story.
Yeah, I think we said that it really doesn't fit into a genre very easily. Like it really seems like it's made its own little genre, which is cool.
Mm.
That was good. I like
Yeah.
that about it.
I liked the visual style of it. I thought
Yeah,
it was interesting,
really green.
very green and very like all the bit well their apartment of the mute woman and her artist friend.
Yeah.
It all looked very like water damaged. Like everything looked like everything looked like it was kind of
Yeah,
like
right.
very kind of
It did feel like it was underwater. Like
not
Ted
moldy, but like
used.
like the place had been flooded
Yeah,
almost,
I remember
which
that.
I guess kind of foreshadows what is gonna happen. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's very dark, very literally visually dark.
Yeah. It's
Um,
hard to see sometimes.
yeah. um,
It's like vignetted a lot as well, isn't it? Like I just remember looking like it was being projected kind of like the old film style vignette thing.
yeah.
Dark around the edges, which could also look like it's underwater, a bit like murky.
Yeah,
So
it's murky,
a lot of thought gone
definitely.
into it. Also
Yeah.
very Amelie-ish in loads of ways, but
It is.
in the like color grading and the quirkiness, I guess.
Yeah,
The word. But of like the main character.
it is a bit
Little
quirky.
details.
Yes,
But it's good. I like
it's
Amelie.
true. It was a lot more violent and sexual than I expected it to be,
I knew it was gonna be
which was
sexual.
not a bad thing. It just
Yeah.
I really didn't. I guess I thought it was going to be more like a 12A kind of film,
Yeah.
and it's more like 15.
I'm glad it was as violent as it was.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah, no, I
thought
thought it
this-
was great as it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, because that adds a bit of something. I think if it was, I think it would have been boring. Which
Yeah.
sounds.
It would have if it had
Yeah.
been like diluted.
Yeah. It's a fun little pun. It's a
Um,
fun little pun about water.
if
That's a
it had been watered down, it would yeah, it would have been wouldn't have been as good.
diluted.
Same thing.
You already did it.
Just different way of saying
I liked it.
it. Yeah. I do feel like Michael Shannon should have at least got a supporting actor nomination.
Is he
The
the bad
bad
guy?
guy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he was very good in
he
that.
was very good.
Cartoony, but like good. It worked with the film, I think.
Yeah, and I think he's kind of typecast in playing like a bad guy, but
What else is he in?
um, I can't think of like literally
failed
any
me.
films right now. But I mean, he kind of he has like a Michael Shannon sort of
Oh yeah.
like he's kind of
Michael Shannon,
similar
yeah.
to that. Like that's kind of the role he plays.
Okay.
But I thought he was really good.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
seemed like a real character.
Really,
to me.
really unlikable. I
Yeah.
think that was the first thing of the whole movie that stuck out. He was like, wow,
Yeah.
I really hope this is the bad guy because I don't want to root for this man at all. So it worked. That was good.
Yeah, definitely.
You really wanted to see him get his like comeuppance or something.
Mhm.
So it's exactly what you want in a bad guy.
Yeah. I felt like the Russian subplot was not too interesting to me.
Yeah. Actually, I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah, it's like the most forgettable part of the film because it's like uh, it kind of serves a purpose to the plot, but
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't. Like, the
yeah,
only thing it adds is like functionality as opposed to like interest. I think.
yeah, because Michael Stuhlbarg is a Russian spy working at the government lab,
Mm.
and then uh yeah, then it like turns out that he wants to free the the, the creature.
Yeah.
So he's not really working for either side. Like I don't really clock on
He
to
was.
what.
I'm guessing he was initially employed by the Russian people and then
Yeah.
just got agency and didn't want to
Mm.
work for them anymore. And realized that Sally Fields also wanted to free the fish monster. So I was like, yeah, alright.
Sally Hawkins.
Sally, what'd I say?
Field.
Who's Sally Fields?
Sally Field is someone. I
Who's
just don't
she?
know.
Was she the grandma in Forrest Gump?
Oh yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah,
Because we talked about it the other day.
yeah,
Alright. She's doing great as well, hopefully.
she is.
Yeah. But yeah, he was a good actor, I think. It's just
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, he was good. Just like it just didn't feel. It felt kind of pushed in there because it was Cold War era. So it was like there had to be some kind of reason why
someone else wanted to
the
free it.
creature was there and like someone
Yeah.
wanted him and like yeah. But the main part of it was very good and captivating and interesting.
Yeah. I really liked how most of the characters got like a proper story to go along with the fish story.
Mm.
And I think the more time goes by, actually, the more I like other films more. I don't know if it's just because it is a
I
good
did, yeah, I
film.
liked it. I don't know if it was my favorite.
Yeah, at the time, I think I was just like, yeah, that was like a really great film. That's my
Mm.
favorite now. And then now that I've seen some other films, I'm realizing the story wasn't that. Those are the details are really good. I really liked the like visual effects of the words as she's like signing. I thought that was really cool
Oh yeah.
and showed like different ways that disability can be depicted on film. We should
Mm.
explore that way more because it's just not really in
Yeah.
mainstream film. And it looks really good.
Mhm.
Fishman looked really good,
Yeah.
like technically. And then story wise, it worked. It worked.
Yeah. It worked. It worked
That's
well enough to keep
yeah.
me engaged. I was never bored. I just
Yeah. And when
uh
it finished, I was like, no, that was like I felt like I had seen a good movie. I did not
yeah.
feel disappointed anywhere. I was like satisfied, like good, and
Yeah.
that's it's little gut feelings and instinctual.
And
But
it's also good because these kind of films don't get nominated for Oscars usually.
yeah, I think it helps that it's got Guillermo del Toro
Yeah.
like behind it, who's like big name, and also is why it looks so good. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Like sci-fi comedy horror never really gets a
No,
look in at all.
no,
So
that's good.
it's good.
I would,
Yeah.
yeah, I think this is gonna win. I wouldn't be mad if it won.
Do you think it will win?
I think so. Thinking about it, like
Interesting.
she does fuck a fish man.
I mean, she
The elephant in the
does
room.
fuck a
It's the
fish
fish
man.
man in the room, but I don't. And people seem to be mad about it on
She
Rotten
does meet a
Tomatoes.
giant fish and fuck its brains
Yeah.
out.
Oh god. Fuck its brains out.
It's a
But at
quote,
least
Lonely
Fame.
Island.
Oh shit. I forgot about that. I thought you were just
To
saying
make a
it.
quote from a song from 10 years ago.
Literally 10 years ago. Happy birthday, Lonely Island. But I don't know how mad people are about it. I think most people are just like it's really good. It's really progressive.
Yeah. It
And
is.
yeah, it can win. I think there are films that deserve it more that I felt captivated more by.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like it definitely has a chance of winning
yeah.
out of a couple.
And the fact that films like this aren't usually nominated is more like reasons like, oh, we can look like we're changing,
Mm.
we're being different, without going too different.
Yeah.
So maybe it will win. It's okay.
Possible. I
Ambivalent.
do not know. What was the next one we saw?
We had a gap for a bit, didn't we?
Yeah, I think maybe Three Billboards was the next one we saw.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
So, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri is directed by Martin McDonagh. He made In Bruges and Seven Psychopaths. Stars Frances McDormand, Sam Rockwell, Woody Harrelson, Lucas Hedges. What was it about?
The main woman, do you know her name? The character's
Frances
name?
McDormand. I can't remember her name.
Ah, okay. Oh, Angela? Something?
I don't
Or was that
know.
her daughter's name?
I
Well,
really don't know.
basically, I'm not good at summing things up. I was literally about to break down the first scene. She is campaigning for the police to kind of focus more on the case of her daughter being raped and murdered.
Yeah.
And she feels that she's been failed by the police, and the town is kind of rallying against her. Like, they feel, and she's picking up a specific police officer, like I think the head of the chief of police.
Yeah.
And the town is against that because he's like a lovable, as the film shows, a very lovable and fine, like good person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like it really emphasizes that. And I guess that's the main thing.
So you
right?
didn't say anything about the billboards. So she sets
Will
up.
it win?
That's the question. She sets up 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
It's in the name. Like I didn't need to say it. It goes without saying.
You don't know.
I know. I
Yeah,
saw it.
she pays for them to be set up so that when you drive past them, it says raped while dying, a year, 1 year and no arrests.
Yeah.
How come Chief Willoughby?
Yeah.
I think that's what it says. Yeah, and then obviously the police go crazy about it because they're like, we're trying to do our best, and like, just because we haven't done anything doesn't mean we're not looking into it.
Yeah.
And they kind of reopen the case because they haven't taken it too seriously, I guess.
Yeah. 'Cause they're lying.
Huh?
Because they're lying about saying that
Yeah.
they're trying their best. It looks
Yeah,
like,
so it's.
I was gonna say, it looks like it's run by like a really incompetent racist. Is he the head of the case, or is he just work there?
Sam Rockwell isn't.
He's not. Okay, he's just on the force. Okay.
Yeah, Chief Willoughby is
The one
Woody
that's running
Harrelson.
the case.
Yeah. So he is the chief of police. He is this kind of nice sort of
Family
character
guy.
who, yeah,
He's the family guy itself.
sure.
The family man. That's
Yeah.
what I meant. I didn't want to say family guy. I'm so sorry.
Well, you did.
I didn't want to say that.
Yeah, it's like he kind of knows Frances McDormand personally because it's such a small town, so they kind
Yeah.
of, even when he's like interrogating her a little bit and like, well,
He's trying to push
basically
her.
he's interrogating her and trying to be kind of like tough,
Hmm.
and then he coughs on her, he coughs blood on her because he doesn't realize he's got cancer.
That was the first moment I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, I didn't know if it was meant to be funny or not, and I guess that's the director's like thing.
I didn't find it funny. I was like, oh shit.
It was no, just because it was so random and a lot.
But I don't think it's.
It was very gory all of a sudden and like a weird, I guess, shocking.
Yeah.
Like shock.
There's a couple of shock moments in it.
Yeah, which I get, like, which is like the director's thing. He
Yeah.
likes blood
And there
shock.
is a bit of dark comedy, I guess, in it, which,
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
looking
so
back
far-
at his films, is like, you can see where
He
that's
likes
come
that,
from.
yeah.
Yeah, that's his thing.
I think so far this one hadn't been. I don't know what it had been actually. I've forgotten. 1 second. It was like mostly serious, and then a few like I think it's because so far violence had been funny, kind of up until then. Like the bits that meant to be serious were kind of played for laughs. Like she's were they funny or were they just shocking? I don't know. Come back to me on it.
Which parts do you mean?
So
The violent parts?
Yeah, she like stabs the guy in the nail.
Oh, I mean,
Was that funny,
yeah,
or
I
was
don't know
it-
if that was. I didn't
think it
find that
was-
funny. That was like gross and kind of graphic. Like, it served a purpose.
It was
obviously.
gross. I think that's what I mean. Him coughing on her was gross, and I didn't know
Yeah.
when I see something gross, you're not. I don't
That
know how to
didn't
react.
seem-
I don't know how to
yeah.
react. That's it.
I think the dark humor was more in the like the part where she is talking to Sam Rockwell at the beginning of that scene where in the interrogation room, and I mean I don't. She's basically making a joke about the fact that everyone knows that Sam Rockwell's character has tortured black people.
Okay, yeah, that conversation.
So it's kind of a dark joke, and
yeah. This was on my issues with the film. Not that particularly.
Yeah. So it's kind of like there are jokes scattered around like that here and there. It's sort of
for shock, and I didn't know whether they were meant to be funny or whether it was meant to be like highlighting an actual proper issue. But it was always with humor, and it felt like it never got addressed actually properly. So it just kind of, for me, like stuff like that, like so, yeah, it's kind of like the town knows that he has a reputation for beating up, arresting, torturing black people more than anyone, and it's in the South, and it's meant to be current day.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talk about being like politically correct. Like I think you're not meant to say certain words. Like they say,
yeah.
Oh, we don't say that anymore.
Now you gotta say colored people torturing business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. So, it never got addressed again, and so I mean, it wasn't the point of the film, I guess. It's just in the fact that other issues, other problems he has do get addressed and they do change, but that one didn't. I was just like, it made me feel like, oh, it was just played for laughs then. It might not have been, but that was one of the things I was like, I don't get the tone. I don't get what I do get, but I don't know if I feel comfortable with the humor.
Yeah, I mean the only part I can remember after that is some point during the film the chief of police changes and it's the new chief is a black guy.
Yeah. And they were really surprised and like don't believe it.
And Sam Rockwell's obviously acting like an arsehole to him
as
soon as he starts, and he immediately just fires him on the spot because he's being completely out of line.
Maybe that's meant to be the resolve to that. Maybe the fact that he gets his come up he's punished for it. I think that's what I want in films. I want to know I feel like I have to look sometimes be told by the director what they think of it by what happens to the character who's doing the bad thing.
Yeah.
So I guess being fired was the punishment.
But there's another scene where he's talking to the chief about because he's saying, "Oh, I think I've got the guy who did the crime."
Yeah.
So at that point he's sort of treating him like a normal person. So at some point there seems to have been something that happened. It's like the growth, decay, transformation analogy. Like that's essentially what happens to him after he is burnt.
Yeah. Involved in a arson.
After a fire, there's kind of a transformation that he undergoes. And speaking of which, Peter Dinklage is really good.
He is really good.
He's not in it very much.
That's
but
another thing I had a problem
enjoyed him.
I got problems with this film. No, he was really good in it, and I was worried at first that he was just going to be because, like in Bruges, this guy finds dwarf characters funny. I'm guessing, and like he's played for love. It's definitely played for shock and laughs.
Yeah.
And like really darkly and really like violently. And then this time I thought he was again not really going to be in it very much. He was just going to be like the comic relief character. I was like, well, that's disappointing. Like. Bit lowbrow, and then he is in it more. I don't know if he becomes less of. He kind of has like a monologue bit. He
gets sort of one sort of decent scene to kind of show off his acting chops. Yeah. And he's really good.
Yeah, he was. And I think he should have got more credit as not just a joke of a character.
Yeah.
Than that. Like he did get a redeemment, but it was still like the running joke was like who'd want to go out with the midget because he's like is infatuated with what's her name?
Frances McDormand.
Got it, Frances McDormand.
Yeah.
And she's constantly like, no, I obviously I don't want to date you, but you implied because you're a midget, and everyone else thinks that in the town as well. Like it's very very like obvious, and then it's revealed that he has feelings at the end of it, and that's kind of it. And then but then there's another scene where he's a joke again. I think after it. So, but film's fine.
Yeah, it'll be nice eventually if he can be in a film where like the fact that he is a little person is not mentioned.
I don't think that's ever gonna happen, and I don't think it.
I feel like eventually it could.
No, I think it's fine that it's mentioned because it's.
Yeah, but I mean, as a joke, I mean.
Yeah,
like
not laughed at
or
just taken Seriously.
Because every role I can remember him being in is always addressed, like, as a joke. And it must be
Yeah.
kind of, I mean, he must, like, acknowledge
Oh
that
yeah, of
that's the
course.
thing,
Yeah.
obviously. But,
And
like, he's
I
probably
think
the most famous little actor in the world.
Warwick Davis,
Yeah.
maybe.
I guess, probably.
Stevens.
I mean, he's at that level, though.
No, yeah, definitely.
Like,
Apart from
there's
that,
not
yeah.
many of them.
No, and I like how it's handled in Game of Thrones, and that it is always addressed, but he's always given like power over it.
Mm.
I think that's the thing. He's not depicted as like the laughing stock. Or he is a bit, but
Yeah.
like it shows his side 100% as opposed to just an outside perspective looking at him. If
Mm.
that makes sense. So that was handled well, I think.
Game of Thrones is probably the only one where he, for the most part,
Mm.
it is like treated like a normal person
Yeah.
to me, from what I remember. I haven't seen it for a while. But yeah, and this, yeah, he's not. I mean, he's not really in it, but I didn't even know he was in it, so I was just kind of
No, yeah, I was really surprised.
like happily surprised that he was in
Yeah.
it.
Performances? Who's good in it? Who's bad in it?
Frances McDormand is very good.
Yes. She was really, yeah, she's like sold me on the film, definitely.
Yeah.
I liked all scenes with her in, obviously, because she's the main character.
Sam Rockwell is also very good.
Yeah? Yeah?
Uh,
Just because I have hang-ups with his character, I think he definitely... He's got really intense parts as well, actually.
yeah.
He has to really act.
Yeah, and he has to act. I mean, he has to go through a big transformation. So it's like he has to act almost like a different person
Yeah.
by the end of the film, and it's
Nuanced.
it's really well done and believable.
Yeah. He was good in it. So do you think he'll win Best Supporting? Or Best Actor? I don't really know.
I think I've written down, so we'll get to that
Oh, okay.
afterwards,
Okay.
but
All right.
possibly. I can't remember who the other nominations were.
Will it win Best Picture? I don't know if we're done talking about it yet, but
I think this will win Best Picture.
I can see that. Yeah.
This is the one that I think will win.
I hadn't thought about it until now because I think I forgot about it, but actually.
It's not the one that I want to win, though.
Okay. No.
But I think this one will.
It was a
100%.
good film. Actually, I had for like half the film, I wasn't sure if it was a good film because now that I know who the director is, it makes much more sense. But I thought some of the writing was dumb, especially Woody Harrelson's character. I
Yeah.
think his character wasn't the best written, just because it's very simple. Like there's no bad sides to him really.
Yeah.
He is out of the story pretty quickly.
He's a very sympathetic character.
Yeah.
And yeah, he could have been. I felt like he could have been more developed. It would have made me care more about the letters scenes that
Oh,
follow
yeah.
his leaving the film. So
No spoilers.
yeah.
Yeah, the letter scenes where like he's reading it.
Yeah,
like,
so he leaves
voiceover.
letters to several people, and it's
Yeah,
kind of like
and they're reading
meant to
it.
be
It's very
emotional.
sad.
But
Yeah, and music is playing. It's
yeah.
super sad, and I just didn't. I think because it was telling me to be sad, I was
Yeah,
adamant that
there
I'm
was
not going
that
to be
as
sad
well.
about it.
hmm
And some of the lines he says are really cringy, I think. No,
Yeah.
not just him. Other people say really cringy lines too, and that was upsetting.
Mm.
But it didn't ruin it. And by the end of the film, like the second act was way stronger for me, which doesn't always happen. I think once it got actually more serious, I liked it.
To be honest, I felt like the whole film was very concise and very like
Yeah.
I was immediately great. It does not waste any time. Like
No.
there are a
Fast.
couple of films that we've seen that are just
A waste
like
of time.
a complete waste of time the
whole
entire
thing.
time.
Oh God.
Nobody should have released them.
Nope.
No, but it's like you can just tell when a good film is going on because you don't even have to really concentrate. It's just happening in front of you, and you can
Yeah,
just
it's
take
not
it
hard
in.
work.
Like it's really doing all the work for you.
Yeah.
And that to me signifies a good film.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, it's so kind of easy to watch, and it's great. I think it'll win, but
Would you be mad if it won?
no,
Okay.
no. I think it'll win, and I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah.
But until recently, it was not. Probably was the film until recently that I did want to win.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd be interested in seeing it again.
Yeah.
Because when I was watching the whole time, like the whole half, whole first half, I was thinking, I don't know if I like it, I don't know if I like it, I don't know if I like it, I don't know why I want to leave. I don't want to be trapped in a room with this film I don't know if I like. And then
Yeah.
eventually I got into it, and I think I'd like to see it through more of a positive lens, knowing that it is going to be good.
hmm
And
Also, we watched this film in literally the front row at the
oh yeah,
very left. So we were at such an angle watching this
a
film.
little
It
bit.
was ridiculous.
It's a bit of a crane of the neck. It's a
Yeah,
small cinema, small
it
room,
was,
small
yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
Um,
But it was just
did that
like,
interfere with your
to
viewing?
me, it was like the worst possible place we could have
Oh
been sat.
no.
But it was fine. Like, I got
Sorry.
through it.
He lived through
I
it.
saw the film.
And that's really inspiring and
Yeah.
beautiful to me. What's the next film?
What was the next one we saw after that? I think it was Dunkirk. I think
Yeah,
it was Dunkirk.
there's been a break between that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I've got so little to say on Dunkirk.
so this was Christopher Nolan, who made Dark Knight, Inception, loads of films, obviously. Stars Fionn
He loves
Whitehead.
time. He's very, very clever and he loves time.
He fucking loves
Yeah,
time.
and he wants the
He
world to
loves
know
playing
it.
around with it, and he
Mhm.
loves when you're confused.
Yep.
Tom Hardy, Harry Styles, Mark Rylance, Barry Keoghan. So it's set on land, sea, and air, and follows the Allied soldiers from Belgium, Britain, and France who are stranded on the beaches of Dunkirk, and they are pretty much waiting for ships to come and pick them up to bring them back to Britain. They're completely surrounded by German soldiers on all sides. They are screwed where in their position. Like,
Mhm.
they're just sitting ducks. They're just being like taken down every minute that passes.
Yeah.
Where they're completely fucked on this island. I mean, beach.
Good.
Yeah, so I've seen it twice now, and I think I think the sea part. So it's an hour
Yeah.
in air, on the air, in
Mhm.
the
In the air.
it's an hour in the Spitfire.
In a plane. Yeah.
Yeah. That Tom Hardy and his friend are flying, and then it's set
His
on.
non-active friend that he just has to be in the film, I guess.
Yeah.
Who's that guy? I don't know.
His dog. No, there's no dog.
I wish there was a dog.
I was thinking about Tom Hardy's dog.
Mine completely went for a second.
The land part is set over 24 hours.
That sounds about right. I
Oh
was
no,
very
I think
confused.
it was a week on land, a day at sea, an hour in the sky.
Yeah,
That's what
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So yeah, it follows a couple of different characters. There's no real plot to it, I guess. It's sort of like
Plot is that it's
you're just
Dunkirk.
you're just kind of seeing a lot of things happen, and you're seeing them trying to survive in this very surrounded area.
Yeah.
You don't really see any soldiers. You see mainly
Harry Styles.
Messerschmitt planes, I think, are the German planes.
Vivi, yeah.
You see Harry Styles a lot,
Mhm.
yeah, and he's alright.
Yeah.
He's not bad.
Not at all. Not distracting at all. That's fine.
No.
It's the thing. Like it sounds like it's a film about watching people like suffering and surviving the war and being put in extreme conditions, but it's not really. Like
It's really
there's one
not like a
scene.
Saving Private Ryan kind of war film.
No.
It's a very like PG-13 looking
Super, yeah.
film.
I think to its detriment in some places. Like
Yeah.
I'm still weirded out by the fact that there's no blood. Like
Yeah.
it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if there was a bit of blood in the war. And
Yeah.
like how a missile lands directly on a human and all they've done is
They
catapult
just
into
sort
the
of
air.
fly up. Yeah, they like
Like a video
ragdoll
game.
like a
Yeah.
like a video
Sorry,
game
I'm just like, I'm
character.
out of there.
Yeah.
And nothing. It
It's
just
true.
it felt weird. It felt like why are we ignoring the fact that there'd obviously be blood in a war? It's fine. It wasn't
Yeah.
fine, but like it happened. So
Mhm.
that was weird. You said it might distract from like you didn't want to be about that, didn't want to be about the gore of all.
Yeah, I think that was his motive with it, but
Yeah.
I didn't really notice it in the first time I watched it. I didn't notice that there was like you don't see any
No,
blood
it's
at all. Like
unsettling.
it's so kind of a sanitized. Yeah, it is a bit unsettling.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know why.
it feels wrong in a way, but it's also doesn't distract me from the fact that it's from what it's. I don't know. He seems
What
to
is it
have.
about? What happens in this film?
I fell asleep.
I
Uh,
actually didn't this time.
he's got kind of a he's like a very classy kind of filmmaker. Like he seems to not want sort
It's a
of gritty.
sapiosexual.
What did
It's
you just say? I don't
sapiosexual.
even know what that means.
It's when you're attracted to intelligence.
Oh, okay.
I think he's
He
so fucking
probably is.
smart.
Um, like he likes very kind of clean, sanitized, smooth sort of, and it's a very like British film as well. Like
Yeah,
it's very sort
it's
of
gotta be.
patriotic looking as well. Something about the graininess of it and
Maybe
like
it looks like a 70s like recording of something. I don't know. I was
mm,
trying to think the whole time. It definitely looks like nostalgic, like it was taken on film, didn't you say, I think?
yeah,
And
17
it
millimeter, I
looks
think.
like that, and I don't know why that. Maybe it seems patriotic because like old archival footage. It
Yeah,
kind of looks like maybe
it does a
a
bit.
bit. Yeah, I did get that. And like
Yeah,
blue and
a lot of
grey.
navy blues and
Yeah,
grays. Yeah,
something subliminal.
very sort of muted colors.
Yeah, it was really pretty, really, really nice
Yeah,
to look at. So that was good.
yeah. Cinematography and directing was like seamless, really. It's
Yeah,
like, I mean, just looking at the sort of plane scenes
yeah,
when
they're
you're
really
in the
nice.
cockpit with Tom Hardy, it's like you just can't even. And when the sort of like the planes are like flying overhead, it's like, how did they do
Was it
this?
CG at all? Because I know it was shot on film, but I
Maybe.
guess you can edit.
I don't actually know. I haven't seen. I
Hmm.
know there's like a whole other disc in the DVD with
Oh,
behind the scenes,
yeah.
so I will probably watch that at some point.
Yeah,
But
that'd be interesting.
yeah, I he does go like far and beyond to get those kind of shots. I wouldn't be surprised if they were real because
Yeah.
for the just from what I remember of seeing like with
Okay,
the
no.
Batman films where he literally got someone to jump off a building and then like from a rope like suspend them through like buildings like
Like a
he
real
just
building?
goes yeah
Oh,
no
no?
someone literally to get the scene where he jumps and then like the bat wings come out he would
Yeah.
have someone on a wire obviously
In a
jump
real building in a city.
yeah
Wow,
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
So
Okay.
he obviously cares about like authenticity rather
Yeah,
than CG.
it
So
did.
maybe.
But then, like, the little viewfinder, like, sight thing in the plane,
Hmm.
where you're looking through it, how are you gonna film that? How are you gonna choreograph? Someone's driving the plane and you're also filming in the plane and it's
Yeah.
in the air. I
I
feel like that
mean,
can't
it's
be.
all smoke and mirrors. Like, there's a
Yeah,
million ways it could have been. It could have been like the front part of the cockpit was just in a studio and they had like a green
yeah,
screen,
I feel like they had to
something
done
like
it
that.
then. Everything else
Is
seemed like legit
yeah,
on a beach somewhere.
yeah.
I believed it was on a beach, but it couldn't. I don't know.
But those kind of shots like put you in Tom Hardy's eyes, like
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
None of it. If it was even if it was CG, it's fine. Like it all looked
mm,
super real. So that's all that
yeah.
matters, I guess. What's it about? What happens? Things. A boy dies,
Yeah,
and I
Michael
didn't even
Keegan,
care very
Barry
much.
Keegan dies. Sorry.
Michael
Um,
Keaton died.
the kid from Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yeah, he died. It. So he. Oh
Yep.
yeah, and Cillian Murphy's in it. Okay, so we said the boat one is most interesting.
I think
That's
so.
the best
Yeah,
one.
the boat sort of plot.
That feels like the most human interaction and like actual story to grab
Yeah,
onto, definitely. So I guess Cillian Murphy gets taken in by a grandfather or father, and
yeah. Mark Rylance plays like the
oh
dad. There's
yeah,
like a dad and a kid on this boat, and then
two
this
kids.
other kid
Oh, is he not related?
who is not related.
Are you
Yeah,
sure?
Barry Keegan's the one that dies who is not related. Yeah,
Oh, it's just a random boy.
yeah.
Okay, that's sad. Um, yeah, and they take it, and they're one of the boats sent to pick up soldiers, and
Hmm.
they pick up this pilot who's got like shell shock and does not want to go back to Dunkirk, so he's like going crazy, trying, understandably, a bit manic, trying to get him to not go to Dunkirk, and it kind of builds up to a scene where he fights for the steering wheel and accidentally punches a boy, hits the boy down some stairs,
Yeah,
and it's just a shot of him just lying on the floor. And I at
it's
first I was
probably the
like,
only part where you do see blood actually,
yeah, just very
because he
very tiny
really
bit.
fucks his head up.
Yeah, I think just because it was such an extreme situation, he's just, at first I was like, oh, he's fine, just fell down some stairs. It's fine. On a tiny boat, the stairs aren't probably very long either, so I guess
Yeah.
he's fine. Moving on. And then he
Nope.
died.
he
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 just,
went blind
you,
and then he died.
and then yeah, and then he was in a coma and then he died. And the way they
Yeah.
say it, like, so when they're picking up more soldiers, the other boys like, be careful of that guy, and then the soldiers
Yeah,
are
Harry
like,
Styles is like, he's dead, mate.
he died.
And he's like,
It's like, well,
well, be careful of him then.
yeah, like,
It's just like
but still,
so blasé.
that's
But I
it.
guess you have to kind of be blasé about death in
Yeah,
that scenario. Like, this is war.
and I kind of like that the reaction was really understated. I get like that. It felt because they weren't reacting, you had to react more to it. Like, what do you fucking mean? He's like, what? Why
Yeah.
is no one reacting? I kind of like how that was handled, but still, what?
Yeah.
I just, I thought that was like really, my stomach is really angry, so
I'm
hungry.
hungry as well.
Eh.
We'll get through
Um,
it.
it's, it was fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't a bad
Do
part.
you think it'll win? I keep forgetting that it's even nominated.
So,
This also probably has a bit of a recency bias. This was out quite a while
oh
ago.
yeah. Because it's patriotic, I feel like it'll win. Maybe. I
Oscars is
feel
an
like,
American though.
oh shit, you're right. I don't know. I feel like it might win because it's a big name director who always
Yeah.
wins. And does he have a lot of wins, or am I just saying that for Noah? I feel like he
I
wins a lot of
don't
films.
know, but I'm guessing he does have a few.
He has some hits.
I would guess.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Does that mean anything? I don't know.
I can't remember what I was gonna say.
That's weird.
But yeah, oh yeah, no, I think there are a lot of strong contenders other than him this
Yeah.
year. So I feel like
I don't want it to win.
maybe any other year he could have had a chance, but this year there are quite a few that
Yeah.
are the clear front runners.
Yeah.
Definitely deserves a nomination though, in my eyes.
Yeah, it does. I think the time.
Even just for how well it's made and like
Yeah.
just how it
Care.
looks.
Yeah, I think like a ghost, it reminded me of a ghost story in that it plays with time. It's trying to do something. It's trying to experiment with something, and I can respect that.
Yeah.
It's not a conventional film at all in that sense. I just don't know how interesting it was, and for the same reason a ghost story. I don't know how interesting that was.
Because you're asleep.
Sometimes, and then so it does deserve recognition for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are films I would much rather win than that. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't really care for the whole film. I felt very disengaged from it, and maybe
Yeah.
it was on purpose. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was okay.
So what was the next film?
Then
we
it was
watched?
the Darkest Hour.
Darkest Hour. Yeah.
I hate this
So
I hate
wait.
this film.
This is directed by Joe Wright, who directed Atonement and Pride and Prejudice. Stars Gary Oldman, Kristen Scott Thomas, Lily James, Stephen Delaney, Ronald Pickup. So this follows the story of Churchill taking the place of Neville Chamberlain as Prime Minister during the Second World War. And basically it's about Churchill battling with the conflict of making peace terms with Hitler or fighting against the Nazis. And yeah, it's just this whole kind of internal government, like, wondering whether or not it's worth...
Conversation. Really long conversation.
A lot of conversations, yeah. Just kind of
one big one.
deliberating over whether it's worth, like, the risk of fighting.
It's a lot like another film we saw, I just realised. Carry on.
Kind of, yeah.
It's pretty much the
Yeah.
exact same premise. Okay.
Yeah, so everyone seems to think that Gary Oldman is going to win Best Actor for this. And
We thought that as well when we first saw it. We
Yeah.
thought, like, well, yeah, of all the things in this film, he is good at acting.
he is probably the best part about the film.
He does
I would
disappear
say.
into the character under, like, 10 inches of prosthetic face stuff.
He does have a big
Yes.
baby face,
big-
which he even addresses at part of
Yeah.
one very
which is
stupid scene.
Very, it's this silly film. I don't know.
It is. It's
Tone is-
tonally
yeah.
the tone is all over the place.
Yes.
It is. It doesn't know if it wants to be a comedy or a drama, and the comedy is not good.
No, I wish it wouldn't.
It's silly.
And the drama is boring. It's not dramatic.
Yeah, because
So fails on
it's-
both counts.
Yeah, because it's just such a kind of kind of ticking off the boxes of the things that you know about Churchill almost.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. I don't feel like I really learned anything that I didn't know about him.
Yeah.
Sort of. I didn't feel like I was getting.
I think that's because he was a terrible person. Like, I'm sure he's
Yeah.
a war hero in some eyes, but he was a bad person who did many
Yeah.
pretty much unarguably very bad things, and I think it's very hard to humanize a character like that.
Mm.
And I don't think there is many like fun insights into how he was as a person because he's also really angry, wasn't like just like
Yeah. I
personality
mean,
wise.
at the beginning he was, and then it just completely
Yeah,
changes.
and so that even that little like bit of information we have on him is then disregarded because he's kind of like a goof. Like
Yeah, he's
then he
kind of an
talks.
eccentric kind of PM that everyone, MP at the beginning,
Yeah,
where everyone's sort of like, oh, that guy's becoming prime minister.
is it MP?
What the hell? Well, member of parliament at the
Oh,
beginning.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, so even the scene where he's really angry at the very beginning, it starts with him like yelling at this typewriter
Yeah.
person. There's a name for that. Who we thought was going to be a much bigger role and it isn't really. Which is
Yeah.
nothing really. And then that's
Yeah,
completely
his sort of secretary.
yeah, that's completely disregarded by the tube scene where he's shown as actually a very personable person who just wants the best and wants has good intentions. So it's
Yeah.
nothing. I don't understand anything
Mhm.
about his character, and it didn't help that I didn't want to like him from the very beginning, and I refused to like him, and I wasn't gonna like him. So, which is hinders your watching of a film
Yeah.
slightly, I think.
I feel like most people say about Churchill, like, they'll probably say what you want about Churchill, he got us through the
Yeah,
war.
yeah.
Like,
That's
so
what
I
this film
feel
was.
like people do know that he did bad things.
Yes.
Um, yeah, it just felt clearly aimed at like an older demographic, and it's very kind of clean comedy to it that just I would have much preferred a dramatic, serious film.
A
Yeah,
gritty
a
film
gritty,
where he's not
dark
likable.
film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he makes a choice that turns out to be better, and that's the redeeming bit. That's the one he makes a good choice, I think.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it
think that
would
was a
have
good
been
choice.
it would have actually been better if it was like, well, he's not very likable, but he's doing the right things to get the job done.
Yeah,
Like that would have made more sense to me
yeah.
than have this kind of all over the place like
He's definitely depicted as charming, like
yeah.
endearing. Like there's
Yeah,
so many
like a
scenes
sort
where
of
he's
sweet old man kind of
yeah,
thing at times.
baby face, baby talking old man. Everyone talks
Yeah.
like a baby in this dang film.
Oh
Everyone has a
god, the
baby
fucking
voice.
accents in this film are ridiculous. Everyone rolls their R's like they're gonna
What's gonna happen to them? What happens when they roll their eyes?
like they're gonna do an R rolling convention.
Nice. Really good confetti. Ow, 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 ow. Yeah, it's just, and I think I realized that that's an actual accent. Maybe people did actually talk like that back then.
It's such a stereotype of like a posh person though.
Maybe they were posh though. It was the
Well, I guess
king.
they would have been. It was the king.
He was
Yeah.
the ultimate
The ultimate
posh.
posh person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
But
was
it's
like
like
final
oh,
level.
it just felt like parody, like ridiculous.
Yeah, and it was hard to take anything serious when they're talking like babies,
Yeah.
and they look like babies because they're all very,
Mhm.
very, very old men. Just big babies. Boss Baby. This is Boss Baby.
He
The
was the
live
British boss
action.
baby.
Yeah. The ultimate Boss Baby. British Boss Baby. Uh, it just
Um,
wasn't a good film as well. It's not just that we
it
didn't like
yeah,
it. It really didn't seem
just
like
wasn't.
good.
Performance by Gary Oldman was fine, but
He tried, like he went for it at
yeah,
least.
he
Kind of have
definitely
to.
seemed like he was committed to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
just and the tube scene. So there's a scene where supposedly in real life Churchill would often like go missing for a while and come back, and he'd say like, "Oh, I've just been talking to these members of the public, and they say this." So there's a scene that is, I think, the only kind of very fabricated scene
yeah.
where he goes down into the London Tube and he sits there and everyone's kind of looking at him because he's prime minister, and it's just like this feels stupid and completely out of place. Like it feels like a deleted scene to me.
There we go. Just had to sneeze.
Um,
Yeah, it is just like old man talking to strangers on a train and everyone,
yeah.
oh, they're like chanting, like, we will not be beaten or something like that. Like, really
Yeah, it feels like the
cheering.
kind of the patriotic scene to
Disgusting.
get him back because he's like lost all confidence and
Yeah,
like
he cries. They all
yeah,
cry together. Disgusting. There's a
yeah.
child who also says something like they don't want to lose. I don't know. She says something endearing because she's a child, and he talks to her because
Oh
she's a
God,
child.
yeah. Because
Yeah,
he's
it's
just sort of
no punches
everyone
are pulled.
crowding around him. He's sort of like, I've got a question that I would like to ask
Yeah.
the good British
Oh,
people. And he's sort of like, what do you think I should do? And then, yeah, everyone's kind of like, yeah, we should all band together and
yeah.
we've got to stop
Defeat.
Hitler.
Yeah, defeat Hitler.
Yeah.
Which, like, I read some things. I read an
Yeah.
article. I don't think that people would be like that. No one else thought people would be like that. I think they'd be like, can you? I don't want to die.
You
like,
do,
like
you get,
I'm very
you
scared.
do your job.
Yeah, like I
Stop
don't know,
traveling
buddy.
around on the trains.
Also, most people wanted him to negotiate, didn't they? I thought.
Really?
I think so.
I have no
That's what
idea.
some articles said. Like, I think the general public consensus was that they didn't want to risk it.
Right, yeah.
Obviously, like even for British pride, they didn't want it. They don't want to risk the like. They just want it to be over. I don't think they'd want
Mm.
to fight really.
Yeah.
So all of it was dumb. All of it was dumb. It was silly.
It was dumb. Um,
Will it win?
Nope.
Okay.
Won't
Next one.
Phantom Thread.
Will it win?
Phantom Thread?
Will it win?
Phantom Thread?
Yeah.
It was directed by Paul
Mhm.
Thomas Anderson, who directed, amongst other things, Punch Drunk Love and There Will Be Blood.
You did Punch
Um,
Drunk Love.
yeah. He's made
Interesting.
like all kinds of films.
That's interesting.
Stars Daniel Day-Lewis, Vicky Krieps, and Leslie Manville. So it's set in 1950s London and focuses around Reynolds Woodcock, who is a renowned dressmaker who falls for a younger woman named Alma, and then it's kind of just about how
Fashion a bit and also
fashion of it, and
the
then
relationship
the relationship between him and this young woman.
and
that he's
the
met.
and Leslie Manville.
Yeah,
It's
and
definitely like the three of them.
yes, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I mean, he's a grown man, and
Fully
it's
grey haired.
yeah,
No avoiding it. Fully grown man.
yeah. I mean, I wasn't going to talk about the age
Oh,
thing,
okay.
but
Not yet.
I was just going to say, yeah, he is a grown man, but he has this secretary who's always around him who pretty much acts like a mother figure, and the mother kind of metaphor and the sort of the Oedipal undertones to it are just everywhere in this film.
Yeah.
Like he clearly has
Complex.
mother issues.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's the first thing. It's one of those films where you're like, I don't know what's going on for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. And then
It's
you're
fine.
like completely into it.
Yeah. And
You
it's
give if you give the first like 10 minutes, just kind of be
sweet.
confused for a bit, and then
Yeah.
it's fine.
It was never like, oh, this is a bad film because I'm confused. It's more just like, I must have missed something. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
like, I failed. But like the first bit I got latched onto was that the mum had died. Like, that's how important it was. Like, in the first 5 minutes or whatever, you know that his mum has recently died or has died or something is dead. Your mum knows his mum's
Yeah,
dead.
it's like the first thing that he really talks about.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
So I didn't realize that's like foreshadowing, I guess. I don't know. It's like, this is what this film is about.
I guess
His
yeah,
mum
it
died.
shows what he cares about.
Yeah. And
it keeps kind of coming up as well.
yeah, but
there's
subtly.
Yeah.
And they're not very subtly.
Well, I mean, there's a point where he's talking to Alma the first night that he meets her, and he's like, "Do you have a picture of your mother?" And then it's like, "Yeah, it's at home." And he's like, "You should keep it with you always."
Yeah.
And he has this very kind of creepy,
Very
intense guy. Yeah.
It was such an interesting character.
Yes.
I'll talk about. Wait, what?
No, go on.
I'm gonna talk about the age gap, just because that was the
Okay.
very first. That was an alarm bell immediately.
That was
I was like,
noticeable.
no, can we not? Like, so he goes to the first kind of location I remember him driving to was a cafe. Like, why does he go there? Is it literally just?
I think he's just trying to get out of London.
Okay.
Like, just a break.
Just going for a drive, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I think yeah.
Maybe it was like a B&B or something.
Yeah, maybe
Like
just over. But there's this like very young waitress who definitely seems like a teenager, I guess. Like she's very clumsy, very kind of giggly, like shy at first.
Seems like
With
he's in
a
her
French accent.
20s.
Okay, 20s. You never know.
But he seems like he's in his like 50s.
Yeah.
So
60s.
maybe even 60s.
I think 60s.
Yeah.
And so immediately I was like, can we not do this today? And But then so they talk, and she's like kind of enamored by him, and he's an interesting character,
Mm.
and is kind of they're kind of flirting, and she gives him a number, and what happens then? Does it immediately cut to a date?
Well, yeah, so the
They date.
first kind of date that they have, um,
Is that night?
yeah,
So
and they sort of meet, and he's just this very kind of haunted character who is very, I don't know, he seems a bit socially inept in a way. Like he doesn't seem completely all there. Like he's
super
very,
distant.
yeah, but
He's
sort of
playing a game.
nice at the same time. Just
Hmm.
a bit kind of off.
Really uneasy, and I
Mm.
liked that he was like you could tell that he wasn't a like he was not a friendly, uh, safe character. It felt
Yeah.
dangerous for her to be around him.
Yeah.
I thought, and that was so. I was like, okay, well, this is going to be a problem. The fact that they're going to be somewhat romantic,
Hmm.
but then it felt like the film made it very clear that this was not going to be a healthy relationship, whatever it
Yeah.
was going to be. I don't know, like you don't know even by the end of the date. It is completely not clear what his intentions are with her at all. Like,
Yeah.
it ends in him taking her measurements in
Mm.
his studio, like in the middle of the night with his secretary present. Like she just turns up at the room and just
Yeah.
starts writing down her measurements, and she,
Because the scene sort of starts as this nice thing of like, oh, you're gonna fit me with a dress. It's gonna be kind of romantic first date thing, and then
yeah,
suddenly his secretary comes out of nowhere, and it's like he's taking it very seriously,
he
and
suddenly
he,
snaps, like his mood
yeah,
changes
and
completely.
he's telling her all these measurements, and she's writing them down, and the girl obviously who's being measured
Hmm.
feels very like uncomfortable all of a sudden. It's like the whole dynamic of the scene changes, and it's
Yeah,
he obviously really cares about his work, which
beyond
is very
anything.
apparent. And the fact that you can even say this about any character, because we've probably not talked about any character so far, like we have talked
No,
about him, which
Lady
to
Bird we talked a
me,
bit about.
who?
Lady Bird,
Yeah.
not very much though. She didn't seem that. Oh, it was a bit complex. The relationships were more the focus of that one, I think, as
Mm.
opposed to the individual characters. But yeah, definitely.
But yeah, for me, I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis has just been. This is like the best performance I've ever seen from him,
Yeah,
and that's like a high standard.
I actually haven't seen any of his films, but I
Oh,
agree.
okay. Yeah, I mean, he
Probably.
obviously completely immerses himself in roles.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's just the way he acts is it. I was saying when we were watching it feels like more like a documentary. Like this feels like
Hmm.
a real person.
Yeah,
This kind of very kind of he's very calm and very
but then snaps and then
yeah, and then he goes into sort
and
of fits
lashes
of
out.
rage when
Yeah,
things sort of fall out of
place.
his routine and
Yeah, he's
or yeah something goes wrong and he just feels like such an authentic character.
yeah, like his quirks that very well like
Everyone
fleshed
has
out.
yeah everyone has to kind of tiptoe around him
Yeah,
because they're like oh you don't wanna mess with
upsetting.
his
You
yeah you
just
don't wanna
don't do
upset
certain
him
things,
yeah
and it was really unsettling. I liked how you kind of want to really like the character because he's very vulnerable, even from the very start. Like it feels like a very closed off, and like this, you kind of don't want to be close to him. Like you
mm,
don't want to know what is up with him, because
yeah
that would like it's so like it was from incredibly powerful and intimidating and scary to disturbingly vulnerable, and it's a bit horrible, but really interesting. It's just really interesting. It was
yeah
really well done. Um,
it's really good. I always don't even want to say much about it because I just want people to see
yeah,
it. Like I don't even want to spoil it because it's so
no,
good. But it just all it's really nicely shot and all kind of wraps up in a it's such a good like
yeah.
story and perfectly concluded as well,
There was
I
no
think.
scene where I was like, we don't need this. There was no line of
Yeah.
dialogue that I was like, I don't get it. It all worked really well. It followed.
Hmm.
I think even with so Darkest Hour, one of our only redeeming like points was that when we watched it, we were like, cinematography's good. Like each frame kind of looks like a painting. Like
Yeah.
it all someone planned this.
This was
Like
clearly talked about
yeah,
behind camera.
was an Atonement director guy.
Yeah.
So like it, I haven't seen Atonement, but I've seen bits from it,
Mm.
and it looks really pretty, and
Yeah.
I think it'd been much, much harder to watch if it wasn't framed so nicely. But then Phantom Thread was even more beautifully framed, so I was like, actually, fuck that, because this is better in every way now
Yeah,
than every other film that we've watched so far.
yeah,
Apart
yeah.
from
When
Get Out, maybe.
mm,
I'm not
okay.
sure.
Do you think it'll win?
I wanted to. This is the one I want to win, I think.
Yeah,
But again, maybe recency bias, because I remember after seeing Get Out, I was just as like affected by it. Like I thought it was really great as well for different reasons.
mm,
Definitely different. Yeah, different purposes of the film, different focuses.
yeah.
I'd be really happy
That's
with
why
either
it's
of them
so
won.
hard. Like they're all so different, so you want them to win. It's like you
Do
can't
you?
compare them,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
It's.
it's really difficult.
I'd say three of them are comparable, kind of,
I mean, so, yeah,
in
some of
most
them are
ways.
quite similar in terms of what they're
Subject,
about,
yeah, but
but
also whether I cared about them or not.
sure,
Um,
yeah.
I don't know if it'll win. I want it to win. I honestly have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah, I can safely say I want this one, and
It might.
I can remember all of them pretty succinctly.
Mm.
Yeah, I would say either this. I feel like Billboards will win. I wanted that to win before I watched this.
Mm.
Now I want this to win,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know if it will. I just don't hear much buzz about it. But everyone who's seen
Mm.
it seems to like it.
Yeah, I've only heard
There's not much fault with it.
of about. I would say I've heard of some reactions, and like 80% of them were overwhelmingly positive,
Yeah,
and the other ones were just like, it was good, like it was a very good film, but it wasn't. They didn't love it.
yeah,
But that was Alex.
yeah,
I don't trust him.
yeah.
But and some other people. Yeah, it's generally really good. I can't remember the reviews. What were the reviews like? It was like just
I think maybe
dumb,
some people said it was boring, but
stupid.
as I said, like that you could find this was boring in any film
Yeah.
review.
If you don't,
Like
if you don't
if
care
you look
about
at
it,
the
then
audience reviews for any film, you'll find one that says this is boring
yeah,
because people are fucking idiots.
yeah. I think it's a quiet film. It's really quiet. Oh, the soundtrack's really interesting as well.
Mm,
Yeah. Oh god, there's
yeah,
some scenes with really beautiful score
I do
accompaniment.
remember having it stuck in my head afterwards. The soundtrack.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I just thought it was like really
I
great
can't
in the
remember
mood.
how it goes now, but I
The
did.
theme song. Yeah, I just remember it really lifting the mood. Like really emphasizing everything in the really haunting, really sad, I guess,
Mm.
scene, and it really like it helped, like it transformed it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it
Um,
all fits together like
yeah,
perfectly to me.
they did a good film.
Yeah.
Ugh, I want to win. Carry on.
Um. Yeah. So
Last film.
then last one is The Post. It's directed by Steven Spielberg, who's directed most films. Um.
All the films
I mean,
essentially.
he's directed too many films.
Yeah.
It stars Meryl Streep, Tom Hanks, Bob Odenkirk, David Cross, Alison Brie, Jesse Plemons, Michael
Alison
Stuhlbarg.
Brie?
Yeah, she was in it.
What?
She
Wait,
was
I need to look up who Alison Brie is, because
okay.
what? Karen.
So it's about the Washington Post, basically about them deliberating over whether or not to write about the stolen documents, which are now known as the Pentagon Papers, after Nixon vows to take any of the presses who write about them to court if they write about them, basically.
Who is she in the Post?
She was, you know the scene. Oh God, this film sucks. You know the scene where
Good.
Meryl Streep is sitting in the girl's bedroom. She was the other woman.
Yeah.
She was
Oh,
like Meryl Streep's friend in the film. I can't
she
remember
in
what
a.
she was. She's not
Oh,
in it that much.
oh, there's a scene where they're on a sofa and she's saying that she went
Yeah.
off. I did not know it was her. I think
Yeah, I didn't either.
I've only seen it in her in Community,
Yeah,
which is
she
super
looks a bit
different, I
different.
guess.
No.
Yeah, but she's short hair.
Yeah.
She really seemed different. I need to watch those clips again because wow.
Hmm.
All right, she
Um.
disappeared into the role.
Yeah.
Best actress.
She was the best part of the film. I thought this was boring.
It's a bad film. Well, it was a bad film. To me, it's directly comparable to Darkest Hour, only in that they're both about a deliberation. It's just
Mhm.
deliberating for the whole film
Yeah.
and talking about deliberating, and it was slightly more interesting. I wasn't interested in it, but I think we said at the time, the like camera angles and the constant soundtrack, like it felt like it was
I mean, they had to do
well
something to make it
made.
interesting.
Yeah,
Because
I felt they had to try.
I think the core plot of the film was just like maybe make a documentary about it, but it's just not interesting enough to make a film about.
No, I think they just stretched it. It was just a stretch
Yeah.
for 2 hours,
Mm.
and it never got better.
Yeah.
I think I left the room at the most interesting scene. Did you say? Like the scene where it did get better for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you can. Yeah, there's kind of a
And
scene where you sort of see how the newspaper is kind of being put together in the factory, like the
so
printing
more
press.
like the technical.
Yeah,
You see how a
wasn't it?
newspaper works, which you could look on a YouTube video
Yeah,
instead of watch this film.
that was kind of cool, but yeah, there were just no real standout performances to me.
No,
And considering Meryl Streep's been nominated like 20 something times, I think, for an Oscar, like
she can't win on this one. It was fine. It was she
it's
acted, but
yeah. I mean, I'm sure they were acting like they do, but like
like
it
the
just
actual
none of them
people.
really stood out as interesting
No
to me.
one. No one.
Yeah, considering the amount of famous people in it, because it was like every scene you were like, oh, it's that guy. He was
Yeah,
in that, yeah, and
but
there
they were
was,
all acting like them. So like how I've
yeah,
seen them in other stuff, I guess. Tom Hanks is different. Tom Hanks is like a not a very personable character, which is different because he's
mm,
normally a teddy bear.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, he wasn't particularly likable.
no, I think it must be kind of like a not aggravator, but like forced, like
Very,
intimidating at least,
yeah,
but not completely intimidating. He was still it wasn't like a bad
not
guy
even
at all.
intimidating enough to be interesting.
No, it
Just,
was just a bit of a mean person, a bit of
yeah,
a that's it.
very forward.
Yeah, but he was the head of a paper, so it makes sense. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like out of line. Uh, what do I say? What?
What
Suppose.
the fuck, film?
uh,
What's
I
wrong
think it
with
might
you?
win though because
No, it won't
I
win.
don't want it to win.
There's no way it'll win.
I don't want it to
It was
win.
not
It just
interesting.
felt like a
I mean,
film.
the the thing that annoyed me was looking at the critic reviews was that they all mentioned the fact that this is like, oh, it's so timely, it's so relevant to
Right.
now, and it's like this is not going to stand the test of time then, because things are going to change. I mean, this is quite a specific sort of period
Yeah.
in history.
Yeah.
Like things will change, and this is not always going to be a timely thing. Just
Yeah.
because it came out during a time where it's kind of relevant
Yeah.
does not mean it's great.
That's why I think it's Oscar bait, and that they can
Oh
definitely
yeah,
do a speech about this, and they can completely see it winning, because yeah, just because it has a message, they have a big speech that well not big speech, they have a speech where spoiler they publish them, they publish the papers, and we know that because it's in history,
yeah.
and she
And
like
they won the lawsuit against Nixon,
yeah, and there's this woman on the
and
phone
that's the
reading
end.
back what the judge is saying about how the press should be for the governed, not the governors,
Yes.
and it's like oh yeah now I get it with fake news I get it like
Mhm.
it's gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah. It
It's gonna
felt
win.
it's not gonna win.
Because the
It's
Oscars
just
isn't
not a
about good
good
films,
film.
it's just about making a statement for a bit and then moving on to the next trend.
I do believe
It's
that is true,
edgy.
but
Yeah.
I also believe they know what a good film is and isn't. And if I know that this is not a good film, someone out there must know.
Someone must think that.
It's just, I mean, it's not a bad film. It's just not. It's not Oscar worthy.
No, it's
It's
really not.
fine.
Some people must like it. I feel
I'm
like
sure.
people
Yeah,
that love
there
listening
are
to
plenty
things,
of good reviews for it as well. I
instead
mean,
of like listening to an audiobook, people that put this on film on must
yeah,
have really liked it.
yeah, it's very talky.
Yeah, really talky.
Um, yeah,
Will it
I would
win?
say if you want an interesting film about newspaper people, like a newspaper company, watch Zodiac or Spotlight. They are much more interesting.
Okay. I watched Zodiac as well, and I think I fell asleep.
You did.
Yeah. Yeah, I really fell asleep.
Which is
Um,
surprising because that's about a serial killer, but
they
it's
talked a
better than
lot.
this. It's better than. I mean, it's probably longer than this.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
it's like
long.
an
That was
hour
the
longer
thing.
than this,
Yeah, Christ.
but
I
it's
don't know why I
better.
tried. I don't know why I bothered with that. I'm sure it's good, but yeah. I remember the interesting parts being interesting. So, and whereas with this one, I
Sure.
don't think there are any interesting parts.
Yeah.
Apart from the very beginning, where the guy's actually stealing the papers, I thought that's what the film was going to be, and then it didn't. It flashed. It's in the war, and then it's
Oh
him stealing
yeah.
the papers. I thought that could be something, but
Mm.
nope. Turns out it wasn't.
Yeah. Didn't like it. Bye.
Nope. Next, end of the podcast.
So that's it. So
10 minutes to discuss something else before the food gets here.
yes. Okay. So best actor. Nominated are Timothée Chalamet for Call Me by Your Name, Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread, Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out, Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour, and Denzel Washington for a film we haven't seen.
Oh, yeah,
It's
because they're not on Best
not
Pictures.
Best
Yeah,
Picture.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
That's tough then because no, don't Day-Lewis.
I think
that's the
Daniel
one.
Day-Lewis has to get it.
Yeah,
I
because
don't know if he will. I think Gary Oldman might, but it's between those two, I think.
I mean, Daniel Kaluuya was really good in Get Out though.
Yeah, he was. I feel like the
Quite
competition is
intense.
too high.
Yeah.
Maybe
No.
another year he could have won it, but.
Yeah, I think he won it for the Brits.
Oh
So
yeah.
he's good. I've decided he's good now.
Best actress is either Sally Hawkins for The Shape of Water, Frances McDormand for Three Billboards, Margot Robbie for I, Tonya, Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird, or Meryl Streep for The Post.
Oh. Okay, well, that's tricky because I have seen a bit of I, Tonya. I did turn it off halfway through,
Uh-huh.
but she was good in it.
She's good.
I'm
Yeah.
starting to wonder if that's how she acts, though. It was a bit Harley Quinn in that it was manic, like very fuck
Oh
you,
no.
very
It's
what?
different to
Oh
Harley
no,
Quinn.
no. I'm saying Harley Quinn was the best thing about Suicide Squad, though.
Oh yeah.
But like she was the best part of Suicide Squad. But now I'm starting to wonder if she does this like very angry female protagonist subverts expectations. Like it's similar. It's similar. They're both very chaotic and like very violent and
Well,
like
yeah, but that
mischievous.
was.
I don't know what the word terms are.
I think it's just a coincidence that you
Is
just
it?
saw two characters that she
Is
played that
it?
were kind of similar.
Is it? She's in
I mean, Harley Quinn's like more fun. She's a bit like angry and aggressive for good
yeah.
reason
Oh
in this
yeah.
film. Like she's more of a real person in this film.
Yeah, I'm not comparing the writing of the characters. I mean, like type. I'm worried that she'll be typecast because in the Wolf
Oh,
of Wall
okay.
Street, she's also like a
Yeah, she's like a Brooklyn woman
yeah
who's
again
very
angry.
like, you don't know me,
Yeah,
that
sure.
kind of woman.
And my voice is going. Like powerful, angry, and
It's very tough.
yeah, I think that's the word I'm looking for. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same kind of role. I'm wondering if this will change because she hasn't been in like a vulnerable. Well, it's not really vulnerable. Even in this, she isn't. I told you she was very vulnerable. I'm not talking about film. I'm talking about performance. She was good, but Frances McDormand, I think she'd win.
Yeah, I agree. I think she will.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, Sally Hawkins could, but I think I want Frances McDormand too.
Fortunately for her role, because she wasn't speaking, that's where a lot of performance comes from, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. She really had to act because she had
true.
no lines.
She was good at acting, but it was all in facial. Actually, no, she was good at acting. Thinking about it, she did have really like good expression and
Yeah.
yeah.
So I feel like it'll be either of those.
It's just rough because then I, Tonya and Frances McDormand, she's called I, Tonya now, are both really aggressive characters and really like striking characters that yelled a lot and were angry, whereas Sally Hawkins was meek kind of, and was quiet obviously, and but in personality as well as like the fact that she was meek, like very different characters. So I think she's kind of at a disadvantage because maybe not.
Yeah, I guess they are more similar kind of characters. Okay, so best director is either Christopher Nolan, Dunkirk, Jordan Peele for Get Out, Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, Paul Thomas Anderson for Phantom Thread, Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water.
Oh no, but I want Phantom Thread to win all of these. Okay, assuming they win Best Picture, that's our choice for Best Picture. Phantom Thread. Who else can win Best Director?
So, Shape of Water, Lady Bird, Get Out, or Dunkirk?
I think Get Out, maybe. I think that's what I want.
I think that would be, yeah. I feel like Dunkirk could win cinematography.
Yeah.
I feel like it's, yeah, assuming either Shape of Water or Phantom Thread could win, or even Lady Bird, I think Get Out and Dunkirk do have a better chance of getting director. So Get Out would be really good because, I mean, that's like first film as well. That would be insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it should win. It should win.
Yeah.
It's decided.
Best
Give that
supporting
one.
actor, Willem Dafoe got it for the Florida Project, which
I
we
haven't
haven't
seen
seen.
that now.
Woody Harrelson for Three Billboards, Richard
Mm.
Jenkins for The Shape of Water, Christopher Plummer for All the Money in the World, which we haven't seen,
Wait, Woody Harrelson, not Sam Rockwell?
and Sam Rockwell for Three
Oh,
Billboards.
okay. Got it. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Yeah, so that would be interesting if Christopher Plummer won for the role that he took over Kevin Spacey for.
Oh wait, what film was he in?
It's called All the Money in the World.
Right. Yeah, that would be. Oh, maybe they'll do that.
Do you
Maybe they'll
think?
do that as a
Do you think it's
statement.
rigged? Do you think they'll do that?
Maybe. I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it
Yeah.
was good. It might be
I've
good.
heard he's very good.
It
But
might be that. It might be that as like a
mm,
statement to Kevin Spacey. If not, I think I want Sam Rockwell to win.
yeah, I
Of all
think Sam
those.
Rockwell will
Yeah,
get it,
I think it's pretty
if
easy.
not him. Best Supporting Actress, Mary J. Blige for Mudbound, haven't seen.
Nope.
Alison Janney for I, Tonya, Leslie Manville for Phantom Thread, Laurie Metcalf for for Lady Bird, and Octavia Spencer for Shape of Water.
I don't think Octavia Spencer got enough of a chance to
Yeah,
really have a good character for that.
yeah, I'm surprised she's even nominated, to be honest, because yeah, she didn't really get much
It's quite a small
development.
cast anyway in that film, so maybe.
Mm.
Uh, wait.
I completely think Alison Janney. I thought she was great in I, Tonya.
Is that the coach?
The mother of
Oh, of course it is.
Tonya
Yeah.
Harding.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay then. Yeah,
she is like unrecognizable in that film.
it's
She is
her
so
then.
good.
Yeah. Or what's the Phantom Thread one? Which one?
Leslie Manville, so
Oh,
his assistant woman.
she was good too, but it
She
was
also wasn't given much to like.
no, very stoic the whole time. Doesn't really
Yeah.
get a big out like expression, a lot of expression.
Hmm.
Which is how I judge things, I guess. But yeah, Alison Janney,
Yeah.
I think.
Best original screenplay. It's either The Big Sick, Get Out, Lady Bird, The Shape of Water, or Three Billboards.
Oh, I don't know,
So
because I haven't seen Big Sick. Apparently, The Big Sick was really good.
Big Sick was really good. I don't know if it will win though.
Does it not match
I
the
think
rest?
it's good that it got nominated though.
Hmm.
I guess it just depends. Like, what do you think was the best original story?
Oh, okay. Okay, what was it again? Lady Bird?
Get
Shape of
Out,
Water.
Lady Bird, Shape of Water, Three
I want
Billboards.
Get Out. Or Three Billboards, actually. I think the
Yeah.
story for Three Billboards is pretty good.
Mhm.
But Get Out's really. No, okay, if Get Out is doing screenplay. Is it screenplay one or is it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
screenplay.
Okay,
Oh no.
then. No?
So you're saying Get Out will be best director?
I need to look at your notes 1 second. Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I am saying that. Okay. Then, yeah, that best director for that, and then. Is that best screenplay?
This is best original screenplay. There's
That's
best
where we are now.
adapted screenplay as
I'm
well.
in. I'm in.
You're like delirious. You haven't eaten.
It's right in front of us. We could eat it
You
right
can
now.
smell it.
Okay, yeah, then this Three Billboards is the option.
Yeah.
I think the best option.
Yeah.
Lady
Sure.
Bird was good though. I don't think I'd be mad if that one for best
Mm.
story. Yeah, because there's a lot of different things happening, I think. Is there?
Yeah, I don't know if it was original enough,
Or maybe.
but I would say
I
Three
think
Billboards.
I don't know many other films that address like a mother-daughter relationship like that, really, in that way,
No,
so
but
specifically. I don't know if that counts though. I don't know if that's enough.
at the
No,
same time, when you look at the other stories, it's like
it's pretty
that's
small.
pretty far out. Like,
Yeah. Okay,
like
Three
out there.
Billboards. Kind of has to do it.
I was gonna do adapted screenplay, but I realized you've only seen one of the films.
Oh, cool.
But there's also The Disaster Artist and Logan is on there, which is like amazing that a superhero film
Oh,
is under adapted screenplay. That is like unheard of.
Yeah.
So I hope that wins. I doubt it will,
What do you
but
think will win?
that would be great. I think either. Well, I haven't seen Molly's Game or Mudbound, but The Disaster Artist or Call Me by Your Name are also on there.
Oh, I think Call Me by Your Name will win that one.
Yeah,
Um,
possibly.
I haven't heard that much good things about Disaster Artist.
Really?
But
It's got very good reviews.
okay, well then, I haven't actually seen it. Sorry,
No, you haven't.
I've got an opinion on it. Bye.
So maybe you should
Leave.
shut up.
I can eat food if I shut up. Can we be
Yeah.
done?
Yeah. So I guess that's it.
That's predictions.
Yeah.
When are
That's
the
our Oscar
Oscars?
predictions. They're on the 4th of March, I think.
Okay.
So yeah.
I don't know when we'll make another podcast.
Hmm?
I don't know if we'll do this again. I don't know
What?
if there'll be another episode of us talking about the Oscars.
Oh, about the Oscars?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's just done now.
We'll
Cool.
probably mention it in the next one.
Yeah.
But, yeah. That's it.
Bye. I want to eat food.
Okay.
I'm done.
Yep, we're
I'm done
done.
with this.
Goodbye.
Yeah.